Hello everyone, it's Michael.Azar here, and welcome back to the channel. And before we begin today's video, I would like to remind you guys that I will be offering my Beginner's Byzantine Chant course this fall. The link to register is in the description down below. So I want to begin by saying thank you for helping me reach 2,000 subscribers. So of course it's not just it's my own accomplishment. It's something that it's the whole chant community. It's a very important thing that people are learning and wanting to learn Byzantine chant. And not just that people want to learn, but that there's more material that is being more and more accessible. And it's not just a good thing for our community, but it's a good thing for the church in general to have more trained chanters. Because if the music is bad in church, people don't want to go to church. If the iconography is bad in church, again, people might find that it might be not pleasing to go to a church. Although you shouldn't want to go to church to be pleased, it definitely helps and enhances the worship experience when the beauty of the church is accentuated and not really diminished. So I wanted to offer a reflection about what I did this summer, because I think that this summer was very formative in my view of ecclesiastical artwork and more specifically ecclesiastical music. So this summer I had two excursions that were quite large. The first one was a trip to Lebanon, and the second one was a trip to Poland. And both of them were done for different reasons. The Lebanon trip was not just for family reasons, but also for religious reasons and a little bit of tourism as well. And the Polish trip was primarily for religious reasons, and the other things that came with it are more the cultural things and the tourism things of Poland. So let's start off with why I went on these trips. The Polish trip was a trip that was sponsored by the Antiochian Archdiocese of North America to send young adults to a monastery in Zapraszów, Poland. And the idea is that they wanted to develop action programs to connect the East and the West Church, the church in Antioch versus the church in the United States. And they wanted to find ways to connect them. And my proposal was to connect them through music, because I find music is one of the universal languages. Whether or not you don't speak the language, oftentimes knowing someone's music helps to really understand their culture, how they speak, how they dance, how they interact with one another. So I offered a program or a idea that would involve using Byzantine chant either through conferences or through different modes of teaching to unite the two sections together. Now, although the original plan didn't work out that way, I still ended up teaching Byzantine lectures in Poland, which was a very interesting experience to teach at the international level with people of different backgrounds. And it was very challenging, but also very rewarding to be able to condense things down, but also be able to see people pick them up. Because it really is a endeavor to try to learn Byzantine chant in a couple days. And it was not only rewarding, but it was also very fun and very edifying. In Lebanon, mostly for visiting family, but of course with that comes pilgrimage and tourism. And we spent a lot of time in North Lebanon, because that's mostly where a lot of my ancestors are from, and that's the Orthodox part of Lebanon as well, visiting different monasteries and different seminaries and things of that manner. So I wanted to offer a bit of a reflection of what I saw there artistically in the two countries, and how we've lost that in translation to the United States. So the first thing is in Lebanon. The first thing I want to talk about is the actual music there and the culture of Byzantine chant there. So in Lebanon, it's of course an Oriental country, and Oriental music is, even nowadays, it's still popular there. Not in the sense of classical Arabic music, but a lot of the more modern Arabic songs still are based off of the maqams. And because of that, the music is innately ingrained within the ears of the natives. So if you go to any Orthodox church, you'll find that the chanters there have a very good sense of the tones. Even if they're improvising and they're not getting the theses right, the actual melodic sounds and the different styles that they're emulating are authentic. And I say like the amateur chanter in Lebanon is better than some of the professional chanters in America a little bit, in the sense of they have the style and they have a very good sense of tuning it, and it sounds very natural. Um, and in the States, because the music listened to is very diatonic and mostly relegated to Eastern equal temperament, the Eastern scales are quite difficult to pick up readily. And you'll find that people spend years trying to listen to the microtones in an Arabic scale and try to emulate that. Or it's not really an Arabic scale; it's Oriental scale. But they spend years trying to figure it out. And because of this, I think that if you are a chanter, it's worthwhile to if you have the time or the ability or the money to have a pilgrimage or a trip to the east, either Greece or Lebanon, or one of the other countries in the area like Cyprus, Syria, and see what the music is like there, because you'll see that the traditions there, even between each countries, are different, but they are vastly more authentic than the music that has been translated to America. Even American Byzantine chant doesn't have the same texture, doesn't have the same color, doesn't have the same ornaments, and a lot of the ornaments that are in the East just aren't present in the West. And for Byzantine chant, it's important to look at the tradition, because we're Orthodox. We believe in of course, holy tradition, passing down what we've learned and been taught by the apostles. And Byzantine chant, although it's not as theological in the sense of doctrines or in correct teachings, it's still a tradition of the church that should be preserved, and preserved well. The other side of the coin is the other type of liturgical music that's very common, Slavonic chant. And that's what I was exposed to more of in Poland. So, in the States, of course, a lot of churches use Slavonic chant. You'll see mostly OCA churches, Roll churches, maybe some Serbian churches use it. It's not really a Greek or Antiochian style thing to do. But from what I've listened to from visiting different monasteries and churches affiliated with those jurisdictions, is that the music is kind of just chord progressions in Western harmony. It's not like Byzantine chant where the melodies are more intricate and specifically written. It's more of a template, and you copy and paste the music into the template. And I've always had the misconception that it works, but it's too efficient, and it's not as artistically expressive as Byzantine chant. And I think a lot of chanters have that same opinion. And conversely, you'll have people that say Byzantine chant is too ornamented and it needs to be simpler for everyone to sing. It's the argument that goes back and forth, right? But the other thing I had about it is just it's very plain. And that was one of the things I didn't like about it. I just said that yes, it works, but it's too practical, right? Orthodoxy, we're not a practical religion, right? We're a religion that spends millions on building churches with beautiful iconography and gold censers and specific vestments for the priest and for the clergy to wear. And the people, when they go there, they have to dress nicely, and there has to be marble flooring and all these things. It's not a very practical faith. It really is a faith that is quite ornamented. And in America, the sense of practicality in regards to the music there, in regards to Slavonic chant, was a little bit too apparent, But again, what I found in Poland is the same loss of translation Byzantine chant is the same as Slavonic chant. When I went to Poland, the music there was not only the same in regards to notation and that, but it was much more big. It was much more spacious. What people don't realize is that with 4-part harmony, what you lose in ornamentation, in intricacy, you gain in size. And in Poland, the style of chant is much more massive, and it fills these giant churches with sound. And when you actually see the chant used and the music used in the way it's supposed to be used, it's incredible. It's not only beautiful, but it's very encompassing, more so than Byzantine chant. Byzantine chant is very like contemplative. It's not very large in the scale. It's more of a meditative type of music. Slavonic chant, much bigger, and when you hear it in context and the culture and the traditions that use them authentically, it's so beautiful. And the funny thing is, when I came back to America, I went to church by the airport, and they had four-part music, and I wanted to sing in the choir, and I went, and I was singing at maybe a mezzo piano, maybe a piano, like very very soft, and they were yelling at me saying, "You're singing too loud." Now, for me, I was like, I just came back from Poland, and they sing with so much fervor and so much strength, and the choirs in America sing with little fervor and little strength. The choirs in Poland are very young and vibrant, and even the people who are old there sing with power. In America, everyone here sings with no strength or nor power. And this is another tradition that I think was lost in translation. Um, and, I wouldn't have noticed that and known that unless I went back to the roots of the tradition. You might be saying to yourself, isn't Poland a Catholic country? And the answer is yes, but you have to remember that Poland, Eastern Poland, has a lot of overlap with countries like Ukraine and Latvia and Lithuania. So um, you'll find that Eastern Poland has a lot of Orthodox. There's about 500,000 Orthodox in Poland. So really, it was quite a lot of very very beautiful churches and beautiful communities in Poland that are Orthodox. And a lot of the churches I saw there were the biggest I've ever seen in my life. Like nothing I've seen in the States and Lebanon have ever compared to the size of the churches in Poland. Really, it was an experience, and I couldn't recommend it more enough. But what I'd like to get my point across is that although in America we have our own American traditions, um, a lot of the things that we have borrowed from the East have been lost, and it's okay to want to emulate them and replicate it in America, and not create a whole new American system of chant or music. But if we're going to emulate what they have, we should be authentic to their traditions, and be authentic to how we should express those traditions in our music, not just in our music but also our artwork. Imagine going to a church and iconography is stick figures. That's sometimes how I feel about music in America. Sometimes you go into a church and just like, yeah, the chanting feels like stick figures. You know, it's technically it's a depiction of the saint, but it's not the saint. It's not the beauty of the church. It's just a drawing with some pencil. Um, and I think it's important for us as Orthodox Christians, especially as people who serve in our church, that we maintain to the traditions of the faith. So I wanted to show you guys those reflections from my travels in the summer. Both trips were wonderful. Lebanon, I was able to see a lot of places that I never have gotten to see before. We got to see the Cedars. We also got to see Tyre and Sidon, which, two complete opposite sides of the country. But things that were just fantastic. We saw multiple monasteries. My favorite one, of course, Hamatura. The walk up the mountain to get there is, you anticipate it's going to be very difficult, but by the time you're walking up there, you have the strength and the energy to get up there. That when you get up there, it's like you didn't even feel that you were walking. It felt like, you're just ascending the ladder to heaven, I guess. It was really was a beautiful monastery, and the people there were so nice and very wise as well. And we also visited Balamand, the seminary there in Lebanon, with also a monastery attached. Very very nice facilities. In Poland, the area we were in was next to Białystok, which is like the Orthodox capital of Poland. The biggest Orthodox church in Poland was there. I think it fits 5,000. There was another church there that had like 7 altars in it, which I've never heard of a church having multiple altars in it. Besides like maybe 2 or 3, but 7 was really interesting. Very 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 beautiful. And then of course we did a walking pilgrimage for the Transfiguration feast. There was about 15,000 people at the monastery, and it was packed, but it was so beautiful to see people from all over Poland making a walking pilgrimage for the Feast of Transfiguration. Again, something you never get to see here in the States. So, I felt like there was a lot of beautiful things I got to see, and that, it's important to share these things. The event in Poland is plans to be an annual thing. So if you are a young adult and you, I think it's between 18 and 30, and you would like to register for that, or apply for it when it comes up next time, I think it's a great opportunity to meet Orthodox people and to visit a country that most people would never even think to visit for pilgrimage reasons. Um, and I couldn't recommend it enough. So again, those are just some reflections from the summer. A lot of other smaller excursions. When the Patriarch came, I got to see him when he visited the States, Patriarch John X, and then of course a couple monastery visits in the States. Those are also very, very nice and edifying in their own ways. But I wanted to show you guys just some experiences and see if these reflections inspire you to try to either maybe change your approach to music, or maybe change your understanding of different musical cultures. Again, like I said, I was, before going to Poland, I used to not like Slavonic chant. I was like, this is just not, it's too practical. Like it's not, if you have 4-part, there's better ways to write than this. But when you see it used in practice, it's really, really done well and very beautifully. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, sign up for the course if you haven't done so and you would like to take it. And again, thank you for 2,000 subscribers. Though the number is just a number, it's just nice to see that the chant community is growing, as well as the music community around Orthodoxy, and around even some Western musicians are finding this information helpful. So again, thank you all so much, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you.